How much do you need to retire? Some people say $1 million, $1 million. Some say 5 million. So who says the truth? And most importantly, who's lying? How much money is actually enough money? That's what we're gonna find out today. Because in today's episode, we're diving into the question that everybody thinks about, but never really answers honestly. Usually you choose some random numbers. The question is, how much money do I need? Can a certain amount set you for life? That's what we're gonna find out. Let's start with some data. The table. Look at that beautiful table. The columns represent the annual return you're getting on your investment. The rows, the starting capital. And the green numbers, why are some numbers green? That's where you're pulling in at least $5,000 per month. Enough to cover basic living expenses in most, but not all, Western cities. It's often said that the long-term safe return is around 4% per year. And we're not going to argue that figure, whether it's right or wrong. And I think it's more or less right, but there are some caveats. So we're going to start by checking the 4% column on the table. And that's where you'll see the reality. You'll need at least a couple million invested to really relax. But how many millions depends on your lifestyle expectation and location. Let's bring it down to earth for a second. The bare minimum. Think rent, food, transport, utilities, internet, taxes. If you live frugally, think small apartment, cheap groceries, public transportation, you can get by on relatively little. The exact number depends again on where you live. So build a little spreadsheet with the bare minimum cost of living for yourself and see how much capital you'd need based on the table. That's your bare minimum. Now let's step it up a little. If you want more than just survival, things like eating out sometimes, a vacation here, maybe drive your own car, maybe save a little for the future. Again, we go back to the spreadsheet and the table, and we'll add those items in the spreadsheet. Find that number, that total expenses for a year, and this is where your life starts to feel secure, when you're not stressing out about every bill that comes in. But you're also not flying private jets. It's comfort, but not extravagance. Now let's talk about the freedom number. Here's where it gets interesting. This is when you have enough saved to never have to worry about working one day in your life. That's when you can start living the Instagram life, or the so-called you money. That's when whatever happens, you'll be fine. And you'll be posting pictures from the beach. You're spending less than you get from your investments. And your capital may increase every year thanks to that. And that's because you're not spending all the juice. That's when money stops buying just stuff, but buys you time and tranquility. Let's say that number is 10 grand per month, or 120,000 per year. Then depending on your annual return, if we refer back to the table, aim at a capital between 2 and 4 million. Hey you! Subscribe to this channel if you haven't. You'll be happier, I promise. So click subscribe now. Thank you. But maybe your dream is bigger. Designer everything, private schools, 5-star hotels, expensive flights. At that point, we're talking quite a few millions. But here's the twist. Even at this level, you'll find some people never feel that it's enough. That's lifestyle creep. But studies show that happiness increases fast up to a certain point and then plateaus. In other words, beyond a certain point, each extra dollar buys diminishing returns on happiness. And it's science. Okay, so the real question is not how much money do you need, really. I mean, that's kind of the question, but it starts with What lifestyle do you want? So how much money is enough? For some people, it will be $30,000 a year living somewhere in Southeast Asia. For others, it will be 10 million or more. The number is very personal, but the key is to know what that number is for you. Money won't solve everything, but knowing what's enough for you can give you clarity, a target, and maybe even peace of mind, especially if you have already reached that point, but you don't know it. If this video made you think a little, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe buttons. It costs nothing, unlike all the lifestyles we just talked about. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye. That's the Hershey.